Part 12. A familiar hit started to rise. His kisses turned wild, as the time goes by. He wrapped his arm around my waist as he pulled me more closer to him. But even with the small distance between us wasn't enough for me. I straddled him that made hem of my fitted rise on my thighs. I just want to kiss him. I wanted to stop, but the kiss wasn't enough for me compared to what I thought. I wrapped my arms around his neck, finally giving in. My lips parted when his lips goes down on my neck. I want to feel more of his skin, and so I started to unbutton his white long sleeve while he's busy with my neck. Nanginginig ang kamay ko na napansin niya. But instead of helping me, he stopped just to watch me, being nervous and thrilled, almost hypnotized. Sumandal siya sa sofa saka pinanood akong tanggalin ang butones ng suot niya. The dim lights gave him dark shadows on his face. It made him look erotically beautiful. Tuluyan kong natanggal ang damit niya. His body were perfectly sculpted. Lumapit ako para muli siyang mahalikan. He answered my kisses immediately while caressing my waist and back slowly. I stopped when I felt him unzip the zipper of the dress I'm wearing. It has a built-in bra. The thin strap fall from my shoulders. The valley of my breast revealed. His eyes drifted to it. Uminit ang pisngi ko dahil sa paraan ng pagtitig niya doon. Hindi ko mapigilan ang mapadaing nang simulan niyang halikan ang bandang iyon. He removed the dress that covered the half of my breast. Tuluyan iyong bumaba hanggang sa baywang ko. I moaned when his mouth covered one of my pics. I looked down on him and saw his eyes were closed. I put my palms on his shoulder while he's busy with my other pic now. I almost shiver with the electricity traveling in my spine. Napal-iyad ako. His other hand held my back, stopping me from being away to his mouth. The feeling is too much, but I want more. I want more of him. Napadaing ako nang maramdaman ang nasa pagitan ng aking hita. The bulge in between my thighs made me stop for a moment. I moved my hips to feel him more, but he immediately held my waist to stop me from moving. I almost cried when he did that. He rested his face on my neck. Please. Hinawakan ko ang kanyang kamay na nasa aking baywang sa nanghihinang paraan, sinubukan iyong tanggalin. His hands remained like steel. Let's take this slow, he almost whispered it to himself. Nanatili akong gustong gumalaw. I tried to move my hips again. He moaned so loud, tila napigtas ang natitirang pasensya. He made me stood up as he frantically pulled my dress together, with the last piece of my clothing down. Muntik na ako mabuwal sa kinatatayuan kung hindi niya ako hawak. His eyes darkened as he surveyed my body. I straddled him again, now, fully naked. He held my waist lightly, finally letting me do what I want. With shaky hands, I tried to unbuckle his belt to remove his slacks. Tinulungan niya akong tuluyan iyong matanggal. I pulled his boxer down. I remembered him being huge, but it looks like it's bigger now. My face heated when I touched him with my right hand. He cursed as he put his face on my neck. It's huge and hot, the size feels violent. I don't even remember how did it fit inside of me before. I moaned when I felt him suck the soft skin of my neck. Fluent curses keeps coming into his mouth. I moved my hands on him slowly, and after 3 strokes, he stopped me. I tried to touch him again, but he lifted me up and entered me. My eyes widened when I was consumed by a sudden pain and pleasure. His move was too fast that I can't even process it immediately. Halos kainin ako ng sakit dahil sa biglaan niyang ginawa. Nanghina ako saka napasandal sa balikat niya. I felt him throb bed inside of me. I know he's eager to move, but he's taking his time. I can't help but to admire his patience on me. I bit my lower lip and grind against him, ignoring the pain. Nagmura siya sa kamariing ipinirmi ang baywang ko. I rose up as I closed my eyes to feel him more. Please, don't move, he almost begged. I opened my eyes to watch his reaction, when I slowly moved my body up and down. He bit his lower lip as he watched me erotically moving. Ang mariin niyang hawak sa baywang ko ay lumuwag. His other hand touched my buttocks to help me move. He started to meet me with deep thrusts, that can almost stop me from moving. He held my waist and thrust, his hips even deeper. His muscles flexed and his veins looks violent, every time he moves. He's growing more bigger inside of me. It feels hot and hard. The pleasure is too much. Even with the dim lights, I saw him closing his eyes while looking up with his mouth a bit open. His Adam's apple was moving, making him look more hot. My body shook when I reached the top. He opened his eyes to watch my reactions. I rested my face on his neck. He cursed as he continued to move. I almost stopped him because the pleasure was too much, especially I just reached the top. He did more deep thrusts before I felt him shoot his load inside of me. He gave me slow thrusts while caressing my shaking thighs and panting heavily. I fell asleep in his arms. I woke up with him beside me. We're now inside a room with lights in dim. It's his room because of the shits that smells just like him. I can feel his arm above my stomach. Tinignan ko ang ilalim ng comforter, nakita ang braso niyang nakayakap. I thought he's asleep when I tried to remove his arm. I glanced him and caught him staring at me. Gising ka? I asked what's obvious. He pulled me more closer to him. Yes, baby. I'm only wearing my undies. Kaya ramdam ko ang init ng katawan niya. I want to get away from him because of what just happened. I'm too shy to even look him more than a second. However, his warmth gives me comfort with the cold temperature of the room. Hindi ko na lang pinilit na lumayo. Hindi na siya nagsalita. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to sleep again. Kaso ngayong nasa tamang huwisyo na, parang imposibleng makatulog pa ako matapos ng mga nangyari. Can't sleep. His husky voice sends shivers down my spine. It hits different, especially we're in bed. I can't believe I'm thinking like this now. Hindi ka rin makatulog. I want to watch you sleep. Hindi ako nakapagsalita. Kung papanoorin niya ako, siguradong hindi talaga ako makakatulog. Pagod ang katawan ko pero hindi ko magawang magpahinga. He lifted my head as he inserted his arm to be my pillow. I pursed my lips, when my nose slightly touched his neck. Nakaharap na ang katawan ko sa kanya. His other hand rested on my waist. Iniiwas ko ang tingin habang pinapanood niya ako. You looked nervous in the parking lot last night. What happened? Napatingin ako sa kanya, muling naalala ang nakita kagabi. May nakita ako. He raised his brow in curiosity. What is it? May lumapit sa akin sa gallery sa tingin ko mga araneta. Kamukha ko ang babae na lumapit sa akin. Kahit siya ay napansin iyon, hindi lang ako. He's listening calmly. I'm looking up on him while telling what happened. Ang narinig ko ay uuwi na sila kaya dumiretso ako sa parking lot. Nilibot ko ang lugar pero hindi ko na sila nakita pa. I don't how to feel if ever sila nga ang nakausap ko sa gallery. Lumapit na sa akin ang hinahanap ko pero hindi ko pa nakilala. Nagpunta ba ang mga araneta roon? He pursed his lips and nodded. Hindi ko alam kung paano ay proseso iyon. Posibleng iyon ang mga magulang ko. Paniguradong hindi niya ako lalapitan ng walang rason. Don't think about it too much. You will eventually meet them. Ha! He licked his lips while watching my reactions. It was positive. My mouth falls half opened. Para akong nabingi, hindi makapaniwala. I got the DNA result yesterday, he said coolly. Anong DNA? Wala kang kinuha sa akin para sa test. I took it secretly, if ever the result is negative. He trailed off. Paano ang sample ng mga Arellano? He combed my hair to help me calm a bit. Your brother helped me. Alam niya ang tungkol dito. Yes, I need his help for the test. A lone tear escaped in my eyes. I was completely stunned. I can't explain what I'm feeling right now. The feeling feels foreign. It feels being found after being lost for a long time. He's eager to finally meet you, he said softly. I nodded slowly as he pulled me for a hug. I bit my lower lip to hold a sob. Finally, after all the heartaches and pain, I found my family. He didn't say anything while listening to my sobs. He keeps on combing my hair, while I cried on his neck. It took me a while to process and to calm myself a bit. Namayani ang mahabang katahimikan ng tuluyan na akong kumalma. I wiped his neck using my hand. It's wet because of the tears. I looked him, and caught him staring me darkly. My face heated. I looked away. It would be too awkward if I don't speak. Hindi ko alam kung ramdam niya ba iyon. Paano mo ako nakuhanan ng sample? Mahinang tanong ko. I heard him sigh. I took strands of your hair. Tinignan ko siya. Kuryoso ako sa parteng iyon. Wala akong napansin na may kinuha ka. I told you, I took it secretly, he answered calmly. Natahimik ako, muling inaalala ang mga pagkikita namin. He's just watching me. Magaling siya dahil wala talaga akong maalala na paraan kung paano niya iyon nakuha. But a sudden idea pops into my mind. Tinulungan ka ba ni Norman makuha ang sample? Kumunot ang kanyang noo, iritado na. Masyado akong kuryoso para bawiin ang sinabi. No, I don't need help. Pero nagpatulong ka rin sa kapatid ko, hindi ba? He pressed his lips tightly, like I just got a point but he won't accept it. That's your brother. It's different, he said those words clearly. Iritado na siya ngayon. Hindi ko alam kung bakit ganito na lang ang reaksyon niya, kahit na nagtatanong lang naman ako. Anong pinagkaiba? Mahinang tanong ko. Matalim niya akong tinignan. Gusto kong malaman kung saan parte siya naging iritado. Dahil unang tanong ko pa lang, alam kong walang mali roon. I can't get jealous to your brother, he whispered. I don't get his point. Nakita niya ang pagkalito ko. He heaved a sigh, like I'm a big problem to him. You still don't get it, ha? I'm jealous to that boy, he admitted. Nahiya ako dahil sa kanyang inamin. Hindi ko alam kung anong magiging reaksyon. So he's mad because I mentioned Norman. Kaibigan ko lang naman iyon. He closed his eyes as he slowly nodded. He's the one who took care of you, when it should be me. You have no idea how hell that is. Natahimik ako. I'm just from afar, watching you feeling safe with him. That's hellish, Charlene. It sounds petty but I want to be your safe place too, even once. His voice is husky, I can feel its pain. Palagi akong lumalabas kasama si Norman nang dumating sa Manila. While Dave was watching in the distance and he said it pained him. Hindi ko alam kung ano ang tamang sasabihin. For some reason, I want to find the words that can ease his pain. Because you are my good days. I'm sorry. He licked his lips, and he smirked, with a hint of amusement. Hindi ko na alam kung saan titingin. If you're really sorry, marry me then. He said those words, like it's not a big deal. Napatanga ako, iniisip kong tama ba ang narinig ko. I'm in love with you. Don't you want me to? It sounded like he was teasing me, but the sharpness of his eyes tells me he wasn't. Pero hindi pa tayo. His eyes darkened but his smirk remained. Let's be together then, he said slowly. Uminit ang pisngi ko sa kanapatitig sa kanya. Hiyang-hiya ako pero malakas ang loob na tapusin ang pinag-uusapan. Sige, ayos lang, mahinang sabi ko. He muttered a curse. Mas lalong uminit ang pisngi ko kasabay ng malakas na pagtibok ng puso. Hindi pa ako sigurado kung tama ba ang isinagot ko. He suggested, that's why I agreed. Pero mukhang hindi tama ang mga salitang ginamit ko. Kung mali ang isinagot ko, ano ba ang dapat kong sabihin? I've watched romance in the TV before, and based on what I saw, they will just agree on their relationship, and after that they will kiss. I agreed but I didn't kiss him. Maybe that's the reason why he cursed. Bumaba ang tingin ko sa kanyang labi. Should I kiss him then? Bago pa ako makalapit, naunahan niya na ako. He kissed me fully. I answered his kisses immediately, humaplos ang kanyang kamay na nasa aking baywang. He pulled me more closer to him. My breasts were squished by his massive chest. I heard him groan. Natigil ako sa paghalik dahil sa pamilyar na kuryente na dumaloy sa aking katawan. Umahan siya kasabay ng pagpatong niya sa akin. Ang kanyang braso ay nasa gilid ng aking mukha para hindi ako tuluyang madaganan. His chest slightly touched my pecs. I accidentally bit his lower lip. He moaned sexily. His wide frame covers me perfectly. Ang halik niya ay bumaba sa aking leeg. He bit and sucked my soft skin. Mariin ang kagat ko sa labi, pinipigilan gumawa ng nakakahiyang tunog. We're still inside the comforter. Pero bumaba na hanggang sa baywang. My breasts were fully exposed. I can feel the coldness on my skin but it disappeared when his warm mouth covered one of my pecs. A short moan escaped from my mouth. Umawang ang labi ko nang maramdaman ang daliri niya sa pagitan ng aking hita. He used one of his hand to remove my undies. Bumalik ang kanyang kamay sa akin. I shivered when I felt his hand on my skin. He moves teasingly. Tumigil siya sa paghalik sa dibdib ko. Hindi ko maiwasan ang tignan siya. I caught him watching my reaction seriously. It made him more attractive. He started to draw small circles on the sensitive bud. I gasped as I held on to his arm like I was holding on to the only sanity left inside me. I tried to close my thighs when I felt myself reaching something. I failed when he placed himself in between. I was about to reach something when he cursed as he inserted two of his fingers. Hindi ko na napigilan ang sarili. I moaned so loud when he started to thrust his fingers. Moan for me, he whispered. Hindi na ako makapag-isip ng maayos. I want to look him but my eyes keeps closing because of the pleasure. I heard him groan before he captured my lips and started kissing me hungrily. Pilit ko yung sinagot kahit na halos mamilipot na dahil sa kamay niya sa pagitan ng aking hita. I stopped when I slowly reached it in spiral manner. His body immediately lowered inside the comforter as I felt his tongue in between my thighs. He gently put my legs on his shoulder, having more access to it. Tuluyan akong nanghina. Matagal akong nagising kinabukasan. I saw him immediately with his hand on his waist, topless and wearing gray sweatpants. I'm facing his back. He's holding a remote while watching the black long curtains to separate. Ngayon na maliwanag na, saka ko tuluyang nakita kung gaano kalawak ang kwarto. He didn't open the curtains totally, only half of the glass wall were open. Kalahati lang din ng kwarto ang kita sa labas, malayo sa kung nasaan ang kama. Sakto lang yun para pumasok ang sinag ng araw sa kwarto. Pinanood ko yun hanggang sa tumigil siya at sinulyapan ako. Dahan-dahan akong bumangon saka itinakip ang comforter sa dibdib. He walked towards me. Umupo siya sa tabi ko. Medyo naasiwa ako sa hubad niyang katawan. His muscles were perfectly in place. I've seen him naked for many times, pero hindi ko pa rin maiwasan panin kapag nakikita siyang walang pangitaas. He always hit different. Hindi ako sigurado kung normal lang bang reaksyon iyon. Maybe I'm just like this because I'm attracted to him. Or I just like him that much, to the point I have a reaction in his every move. You can still rest if you want, he said softly. He caressed my bare back and kissed the tip of my shoulder. Ngayon na parehas kaming hubad, muling nagbalik ang mga nangyari kagabi. Nakakahiya ang mga nailabas kong reaksyon. This is the reason why I don't want to moan or anything. Dahil alam kong pagkatapos ng pangyayari, ikakahiya ko iyon. Pero siguro normal lang ang ganoong reaksyon. He moaned too and he didn't feel awkward or anything. I should be like that too. Hindi ako makapaniwala sa iniisip, ngayon pa nakaharap siya. Ayos na ako. He woke up earlier than me. Pero hindi ko inaasahan na nakaluto na siya ng umagan. Lumabas siya sa kinuha ko ang pagkakataon na iyon na makaligo at makabihis. Ang sabi niya sa akin ay may damit ako sa closet niya. Pero hindi ko inaasahan na ganoon kadami nang makapasok sa walk-in. Mas marami pa yata iyon sa lahat ng gamit ko. Ang dami, Dave. May iba bang gagamit nito? Tinignan ko siya na nakasandal sa pintuan. He's crossing his arms while watching me. No one, it's all yours. Pinuksan ko ang isang cabinet saka nakita ang iba't ibang klaseng underwear. Mabilis ko yung sinara dahil alam kong makikita niya. Tahimik akong kumuha ng susuotan pati walang nagawa kundi ang pasimpleng pagkuha ng panloob na suot. Hindi ko siya pwedeng palabisan ng walang rason. Pero ngayon na magbibihis na, may rason na ako. We eat our breakfast. Nakaplano na ang gagawin namin sa buong araw. Pupunta ako sa kondo habang siya ay kakausapin ng pamilya ko. Nais ko silang makita ngayon pero hindi ko ipipilit kung sa tingin ko'y hindi pa pwede. Wala pa silang alam tungkol sa akin kaya mabuting maghintay muna ako. Nasa loob na ako ng kanyang kotse nang maramdaman ang hindi ko pagkakomportable. For some reason, I can feel his tongue moving in between my thighs. Hindi ko alam kung bakit ganoon, ngayon na wala naman kaming ginagawa. Hapdi ang nararamdaman ko kanina pero ngayon ay iba na. Umupo na siya sa driver's seat. Nanahimik ako saka pasimpleng ipinag-cross ang mga binti. Napasulyap siya sa akin. Nanatili ang mata ko sa harapan. What's wrong? Mabilis ko siyang sinulyapan. Wala naman, kalmadong sabi ko. Hindi siya kumbinsido pero nanahimik na lang. Malayo pa ang building ng kondo ni Norman. Sinubukan kong maging kalmado pero habang tumatagal mas lalo akong hindi nagiging komportable. Paulit-ulit kong inaayos ang pagkakaupo. Sumandal ako sa kinauupuan saka pilit binigyan ng atensyon ang nasa labas. Maya't maya ang sulyap ni Dave sa akin. Are you okay? Hindi ako nakapagsalita saka muling umayos ng upo. He did that thing for hours, maybe that's the reason why I'm feeling like this. Uminit ang pisngi ko sa katinignan siya, medyo nakakaramdam ng inis kung bakit niya ginawa sa akin iyon ng ganoon katagal. He looked serious, while waiting for me to answer. Nananatili akong tahimik, iniisip kong tama bang sabihin sa kanya ang bagay na iyon. Natigilan ako nang makita ang pagparking niya sa gilid ng kalsada. He stopped the engine before he gave his full attention to me. Now, what's the problem? My face heated when I saw how serious he was. Nakakahiyang sabihin, lalo na't itinigil niya pa, ang sasakyan para lang pakinggan ang sasabihin ko. Drive the car now, Dave. It's not that important. Napapikit ako nang muling maramdaman ang nasa pagitan ng hita. Every ticklish feeling reminds me of how hot it was last night. He's warning me but I still glared, him to at least save a face. Hindi ako komportable, hindi ko matuloy ang sasabihin. Mas lalong kumunot ang kanyang noo. What? Sa nag-iinit na pisngi, nag-iwas ako ng tingin. I can feel your tongue in between. I said those words like a whisper. Hindi ako sigurado kung rinig niya pero wala na akong pakialam. Kung hindi niya narinig yun, hindi ko na uulitin pa. Hindi siya nagsalita kaya sinulyapan ko. Inaasahang hindi niya narinig ang sinabi ko. My eyes widened when I saw him trying so hard to hide his smirk me. I slapped his arm in annoyance. He chuckled as he tried to console me.